G'day everybody, my name's Kai and I'm the creator of Elixr Mods. Today's tutorial I'm going to run you through on how to set up everything you could possibly need for doing mods in Eco, down to all the little extra components you're going to need, what IDEs to use, setting up your Unity, all that. We're just going to cover everything today, and tomorrow hopefully I should have a video out tomorrow, maybe even later today, on constructing your first object in Unity and in code. So hopefully we're going to cover all the code side as well in the next video. So I'm just going to run you through some of the handy tools to have. So one of the first things you're going to need is Visual Studios, mostly because if you do all your stuff in Visual Studios, it's got a thing called IntelliSense that can help you define errors and stuff in your code, to help making your mods a lot easier. And you're only going to need the community version. You don't need the professional, the enterprise. They have licenses attached to them, and you don't need them. The community one is totally free, and it will have everything that you need. The other thing you're going to need is Unity. And currently, at the time of this video, they are on. You can download Unity Hub, which will be really handy. But yeah, currently the Eco Unity is at, so you only need individual, personal. Actually, we'll just go to the archives. There we go. So they're still on 2019. So we select 2019, and they are, as far as I'm aware, on 2019.4.13. Today's video I'm going to be using .12. It still works. Things seem to be working fine. But if you keep up to date with what they have, then you shouldn't have any problems with world objects or anything showing up in game. It's just that as new versions come out, they change scripts and things like that. So you can download that through Unity Hub, which is really good for managing all your projects. Or you can just direct download, which I don't need to do any of that because I already have it all installed. Now, I'm going to run you through the add-ons and components that you're going to need for your Visual Studios and your installation. Now, you don't need everything that I have here. I do many different things, so some of the stuff I have here you're not going to need. One of the things you're going to want is .NET Desktop Development. It just has all of your stuff for coding in C#. The Universal Windows Platform Development is optional, but you can have that if you like. Game development with Unity. This would be really handy if you do Unity-based stuff. It'll allow you to attach your Visual Studios to the Unity engine itself for debugging, and it'll help. And then another thing you're going to want is the .NET Core cross-platform development, because as of 9.0, Eco is developed in .NET Core 3.1. So we can use stuff like .NET Core 3.1, excuse me, sorry, and .NET Standard for making our mods. And that will be cross-platform compatible with like Linux and Mac-based servers or clients. Mac is untested at the moment. I don't deal much in Mac, but I have a few friends that deal with Linux, and yes, a lot of the .NET Standard stuff is really good for working with Linux. So you just make sure you got them selected and install. It could be a few gigs worth, and just give that time to install. So the first thing we're going to want to do if you're doing Unity development, even if you're not, is you're going to want to download the mod kit from the play.eco website, which is the official Eco website. Log into your account or make one if you don't have one. You can link your Steam, and then you can download the mod kit straight from here. So this will have some things in it that we're going to need for developing in Unity, and it also has a project version of what version of Unity that they are using. So this is outdated. Don't listen to that. It is outdated. That's for 9.0.5, but yeah, in the later ones it'll be 4.13, not 4.9. They aren't included in the mod kit at the moment, but in the next mod kit that they release, they will be releasing the Eco DLLs, which will be really, really handy for your Visual Studios, so for doing your code side. But now we're going to go and we're going to do something with Visual Studios to begin with. So we're going to open up our Visual Studios. And then we're going to create a new project. And what we're aiming for is we're aiming for a cross-platform compatible mod so that it can work on Linux-based servers as well as Windows-based. So we're going to make a class library. It's a .NET standard class library. So we're going to select that one. We're going to give it a name. I'm going to call it my Please, yeah, you can check that or uncheck that depending how big you want your mod to be. If you want it to be really, really big, then don't check that. Otherwise, just leave it checked. And then we're going to click create. Now, Visual Studios is going to compile everything for us. It's going to get it all set up. We're not going to really need to do all that much. So it's loaded up our first project and then our first class, which we're going to cover all of this stuff later. But one thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to right click on our little project here called my mod, go to properties, and we're going to have to change the target framework to .NET Standard 2.1 because 2.0 will not work with Eco 9.0 at all. If you're doing this for pre 9.0, then you're going to be wanting to do a .NET Framework class library, not a .NET Standard, but I don't think many people will be going back to 8.3.3 for modding wise. And so that's pretty much our scene setup. Now, once they release the DLLs for Eco, for like all the extra stuff, so you can start referencing things, we're going to go add project reference. And as you can see, I've already got them here. And then you just tick the little box next to them, all of them, just tick them all. It's better to have them all there referenced and then not. We're going to click OK. And now this could take a few seconds. Your Visual Studios might seem like it's not working or anything like that. If you try to do stuff, just wait. It'll be fine. It just takes a little bit to add the references. And then they'll be under dependencies, assemblies. And this will allow us to actually tap into certain things. So say we're going to do a chat command so the type of namespace chat command could not be found. We can then Alt Enter. If you use the shortcut Alt Enter, it comes up with possible solutions, and this allows us to add the usings required to be able to use certain aspects or reference things really easily without having to try and figure out what it is you need to using like Visual Studio Code or something like that. So this can allow us to actually easily add in the usings that we need and then get rid of what we don't need to keep the code files and stuff cleaner. Now you don't have to build these. You can literally just open up your project location and you can literally just grab the CS files and put them into your server and it'll run. So they don't actually still have to be built. But if you want to build it into a DLL, we're going to right click, we're going to properties, and in our build, we don't need to change anything here. And then but we have build events. So I'm just going to grab something real quick from one of my other projects that we use that could be really handy to you. So in build events here, you see we have the post build events. So we are deleting specific files from our target directory, which is the directory that it builds to. And we're deleting anything that isn't related to our mod's name at all. Because if you were to build your mod, so if we were to go build, build successful, and we go into our project file, this will build in under bin, debug, and .NET Standard, or Net Standard 2.1, and then it adds in all of these extra DLLs, all this extra stuff that we don't need. So if we put in under our properties, build events, post build events, I'll just copy, paste away from here. Don't need you anymore. Put that there. So the asterisk is a wildcard. Anything, doesn't matter what it is, that comes before this specific one here will be deleted. But at the moment, we don't want to get rid of anything that starts with M because it's called my mod and that's what it'll build as. We go ahead and save. We build it again. And then, as you can see, all that's left is mymod.dll. So that's for the Visual Studio side. That's for building your DLLs, and then you can just drop this into another folder and stick it in your mods folder in the server for testing, or you just put it straight into the mods folder for testing. You don't need to take anything across with it. It's pretty straightforward. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up our Unity. So we're going to create a new project, 3D project. Make sure it's 3D because Eco is a 3D game. Just give your project a name, whatever you want to call it, and select where you want it to go. And then we're going to initialize our project. So this could take a little bit of time to load up, but a basic scene shouldn't have, it shouldn't take too long. Depending on how good your PC is, it depends on how long this takes up. Alright, so here we have our first scene. This is the start of our mod. So the first two things we need to do is we need to get rid of our directional light and our main camera. Because if we start adding that stuff into Eco, things will act really, really weird. Especially extra light sources, unless you're making a light mod, then that is different. Then you'll be messing around with different lights and things like that. You'll be toggling them on and off with switches and other sorts of stuff. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to select Window. We're going to go to Package Manager. Meow. Just wait for it to finish loading packages. So we want to be in project. Like if it says in project, which sometimes it will by default, we want to change to Unity registry. And we want to find collections. I could be blind, and I apologize. I must be really, really, really blind. Alright, we'll come back to that. So once we've downloaded, like, say, you remember before that we downloaded our mod kit. So we just need to, I'm just going to put that on desktop. So this is what we want here. We want the eco modkit.unity package. So just put that there. Don't need that anymore. Now in our Unity, we're going to go assets, import package, custom package. And we're going to go to where we put our eco modkit.unity package, and we're going to click open. And we're going to click import. And this is going to add all the scripts and everything we're going to need for making our mods inside of Unity. So we're going to click import. This might also take a little bit of time because it's going to import all the scripts and stuff. And then once you've done this for the first time, each time you load up your project, it could take a little bit longer when you add more things to it and expand on your project in general. So you just got to give that a little bit of time. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. It took a little bit of time to load. Now, as you can see here, I have 17 errors. So we just got to figure out what the problem is. Now we're just going to go back to window again. We're going to go to package manager. I'm going to see if we can find collections again. And there we go. So it seems like it comes up after we add our custom Unity package. So we need to add collections. This is probably why it wasn't showing up before. Just let that install. I knew I wasn't blind yet. So these can take a little bit of time to install as well because they have to download and then they've got to install it and compile everything. Whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. And that's all you're really going to need for the moment. You can install TextMesh Pro. It should already be installed. If it's not already installed or it's just having a bit of a complaint, you can reinstall that. But at the moment, we're just worried about the collections. So we'll just let that finish installing. We'll come back after it's done. So we come back a little bit early just to show you, just to make sure that it is working. So it will start doing an import on all the packages and stuff that it's adding. Anytime you add anything to Unity externally, it'll run the importer just to make sure that it's adding everything in there, doing everything it's supposed to be doing. So you can literally open up your project in a file explorer and just drop things in there, and then you go into Unity and it will start importing it all for you. So now we're going to click clear after that and see how many errors we got left. There we go. All the errors are now gone. So now you can also start developing in Unity, and under assets, so the packages has got all the extra packages that's installed that we're using additionally. And then under assets, eco mod kit, this is where all our scripts and everything are that we use for making our objects. So if we go ahead and we create an empty, it's called game object, we start adding scripts. We can add world object scripts to it, and then it starts adding all the extra world object scripts. And that is your Unity scene set up and ready to go. As I said, in the next video, I'm going to do a full tutorial on building your first object, placing it in game, testing it out, and I'll be providing some dummy models for you to test with as well, hopefully. So this is very similar to Flow's flag tutorial, which link for that will be in the description below. So basically, once we've gotten to this point, you can pretty much skip to Flow's flag tutorial, or tomorrow when the new video is up, we can go through every aspect of creating your mod down to the code file and to testing it in game to make sure that it works. So until then, I'll see you next time.